The frozen moon of Illyria was never kind to travelers, and tonight it was angrier than ever. The wind cut through the air like sharp knives, carrying dust, ice, and the sound of distant howls. Ethan, a human explorer, pushed forward through the deep snow. His boots were heavy, his breath short, and his body shaking from the cold he never prepared for. The temperature kept dropping. His visor fogged again, and his hands went numb. He knew he couldn't survive long in this storm. Every step felt like he was walking deeper into a nightmare. Suddenly, he heard a soft sound behind him, almost too soft for the storm to allow Dot at first. He thought it was the wind playing tricks. But then it came again, a trembling voice. A whisper. A plea. Human. Stay with me tonight. Ethan froze. He slowly turned around. Through the swirling snow, he saw a faint blue glow. A figure walked toward him, small, fragile, and shivering. As she came closer, he realized it was an alien girl, barely older than him, with glowing blue skin and bright silver eyes. Her hair floated lightly in the cold air, almost weightless. She looked terrified. "Who are you?" Ethan asked, his voice shaking from the cold and fear. "My name is Lyra," she said softly. Her voice was weak, but each word carried quiet fear. "You will not survive out there. You must come with me." Ethan looked around. Everywhere he turned, he saw only darkness, snow, and moving shadows. The storm was getting worse. His body was losing strength. He had no choice but to trust her. "Why me?" he asked. Lyra didn't answer immediately. She looked at the darkness behind him instead, her eyes wide, her skin glowing brighter. "Because something is out here tonight. Something that hunts warm blood." She stepped closer. "And it already knows you are here." A chill colder than the storm ran through Ethan's spine. "What is out here?" He whispered Dot, but Lyra grabbed his hand instead of explaining. Her small fingers were warm, almost burning against his frozen skin. "No time. Follow me." She pulled him through the snow with surprising speed. Ethan tried to look back, but the wind grew louder, almost screaming. He felt something, like someone watching him from the darkness. A tall shadow. A slow movement. A breath he could hear but not see. Lyra squeezed his hand tighter. "Don't look back," she said. "It follows those who look at it." Her words made Ethan's heartbeat slam inside his chest. He kept his eyes down, watching only the snow beneath him. Dot, after several minutes, Lyra pointed ahead. A small hut made of crystal-like stone stood between two frozen trees. Its windows glowed faint white, and the door was half broken, like something had clawed it recently. "This is my shelter," she said, breathing fast. "Get inside." Ethan entered first. The air inside was warmer, but not safe. He noticed long claw marks on the walls, deep and fresh. Something had tried to break in just hours ago. The wood smelled burnt, as if something hot had touched it. "What made these marks?" Ethan asked. Lyra didn't answer. She locked the door and pressed her back against it, her body shaking in fear. "You must stay close tonight," she whispered. "If you leave, I will not see the morning." Ethan took a step toward her, confused and worried. "Lyra, what is happening? Why is something hunting you?" She opened her mouth to answer, but stopped as a slow, heavy scratch echoed outside the hut. Ethan's blood ran cold. The creature had followed them, and it knew exactly where they were. Lyra looked at him with terrified eyes and whispered, "Whatever happens, don't make a sound." The scratching outside continued, slow, deep, and full of hunger. Each sound made the fragile crystal walls tremble. Ethan stood completely still, afraid even to breathe. Lyra's eyes were fixed on the door, glowing softly like frightened stars. The sound stopped. Silence rushed in, thick and painful. Ethan whispered, "Did it leave?" Lyra didn't answer. She placed her ear against the door, closing her eyes. For a moment, Ethan saw her entire body stiffen. When she pulled back, her face was pale with fear. "It's still there," she whispered. "It waits in the snow, listening." Ethan's heart raced. "What does it want?" Lyra took a long breath, as if collecting courage. "It wants me." The answer hit him like a cold punch. Before he could speak, Lyra quickly moved across the room. Her steps were silent, like she had practiced hiding her whole life. She began closing carved stone shutters, sealing the windows. Ethan noticed the shutters were unusually thick and burned around the edges. Like they had survived many attacks. "Lyra," Ethan said softly, "you need to tell me what's happening." She paused, turning slowly toward him. Her eyes shimmered with the kind of sadness that came from years of running. "This hut is not my home," she said. "It is only a place where I hide, hiding from that creature." Her voice broke. "From all of them." Ethan frowned. "All?" Lyra nodded. "There is more than one Night Stalker. And tonight, I think more will come." Ethan felt the walls closing in around him. The scratches on the crystal, the claw marks near the door, the burned wood, it all made sense now. This hut was not a safe shelter. It was a cage made to slow down monsters, not stop them. "Why do they want you?" Ethan asked. Lyra lowered her gaze. Her glowing hands trembled as she touched the mark on her arm, hiding under her sleeve. "Because of something I cannot control." Before Ethan could ask more, a sudden thud shook the door. Heavy, powerful, but the creature didn't try to break in. It slid something under the door. Ethan froze. A long, curved claw freshly broken off. Lyra covered her mouth, terrified. "They mark their prey with broken claws," she whispered. "It means they will not stop until I am dead." Ethan felt anger rising in his chest. "Why didn't you tell me earlier?" She stepped back, shaking. "Because humans rarely stay when they learn the truth." He stared at her for a moment. Her fear was real. Her voice, her trembling hands, her heavy breathing, everything showed she had been alone for years. "I'm not leaving," Ethan said quietly. She looked up, surprised. For the first time, there was a hint of hope in her eyes. He pointed at the claw on the floor. "If that thing wants a fight, then it came to the wrong hut." Lyra's lips parted, but no words came. She wasn't used to someone choosing to protect her. Another thud struck the wall. Snow fell from the ceiling. Outside, the creature let out a chilling, slow exhale, so close Ethan could feel the vibration. "How long will it wait?" he asked. Lyra whispered, "Until I stop breathing." A terrible realization hit Ethan. The creature wasn't attacking because it didn't need to. It was patient. It could wait longer than either of them could stay awake. Ethan looked around. The hut was small, with little protection. A broken table, a few glowing stones, and a crystal furnace. No weapons. No shields. "We need a plan," he said. Lyra swallowed hard. "There is a secret room below the floor. I use it when the danger gets too close. Then let's go." She hesitated. "If we go down there, we won't hear it. We won't know where it stands. We will be blind." Ethan stepped closer, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Then trust my ears. I will listen." Her silver eyes locked on his, full of fear and something deeper. Something like hope. Another loud scratch cut through the silence. "It knows we're going to move," Lyra whispered. Ethan tightened his grip on her arm. "Then we move fast." Ethan lifted the wooden floor panel carefully, trying not to make a sound. The hidden room below was small, dark, and cold, just big enough for two people to sit inside. A faint blue glow came from the crystal stones arranged along the walls, giving the space a soft, ghost-like light. Lyra stepped down first, her feet barely touching the ground. Ethan followed and closed the panel above them. Darkness swallowed the room for a moment, before his eyes adjusted. He could still hear the storm outside, but it was the silence inside that felt heavier. Lyra sat with her knees close to her chest, her glowing skin barely lighting the room. Ethan sat across from her, watching her carefully. "Is it safe here?" he whispered. Lyra shook her head slowly. "No place is safe. Not when it's following me." Ethan frowned. "That creature, does it always watch you like this?" Lyra swallowed, her voice weak. "It doesn't just watch. It studies. It learns. It remembers. Night Stalkers can smell fear. And hope." Ethan shivered. "And humans? They smell curiosity on you," she whispered. "And sometimes, courage." Ethan didn't feel courageous. His hands trembled, and his breath was shaky. But he knew he had to stay strong for her. Above them, something heavy walked across the hut floor. Slow, steady, listening. Lyra held her breath. Ethan grabbed her hand and squeezed it gently. He could feel how cold she was, colder than the storm. She was scared down to her bones. The footsteps stopped right above the panel. Ethan's heart stopped too. The creature sniffed the air, dragging its long breath across the floor. Lyra's eyes widened, tears forming at the corners. Ethan slowly placed his finger over his lips. "Don't make a sound." A long, sharp claw scraped the floor panel, sending a jolt of terror through both of them. The creature wasn't trying to enter. It was testing. It wanted to see if anyone would react. Lyra pressed her forehead against her knees, breathing silently. Ethan listened hard, feeling every vibration in the wood above them. The creature moved again, slow circles. Careful steps, as if examining the entire hut with intelligence, not instinct. Suddenly, the scraping stopped. Silence. Ethan leaned closer to the floor, trying to hear anything at all. Nothing came. No movement. No breath. No wind. He pulled back and whispered, "I think it left." Lyra shook her head immediately. "No, Night Stalkers can lie." Ethan blinked. "Lie? They pretend to leave. They wait outside in the silence. They know prey relaxes after quiet." She lifted her head. "They love patience games." Ethan felt a cold wave spread through his chest. This creature wasn't just hunting, it was thinking. Lyra leaned against the wall, her voice trembling. "There's something else you must know. Night Stalkers do not choose prey randomly. Then why you?" Ethan asked softly. She looked away, her glowing eyes dimming. "Because of the mark one carry. They hunt beings with this mark. My kind calls it the scent curse. It makes predators follow you wherever you go. They track you across mountains, forests, storms, even planets." Ethan felt a tight knot in his stomach. "How long have you been running?" Lyra's voice cracked. "Since I was 12. The room fell quiet. Ethan stared at her exhaustion, her fear, her loneliness. She had survived years of horror, always alone. "Not tonight. We'll break the curse," Ethan said firmly. She finally met his eyes. "A human cannot break it." "Maybe humans never tried," he said. Before she could answer, a sudden thump hit the wall above them. A second thump followed. Then a slow dragging sound, like claws sliding over crystal. Lyra's breath caught. It brought others. Ethan looked up, realizing the truth. The Night Stalker wasn't alone now. More creatures had gathered. They surrounded the hut from all sides. He whispered, "They're waiting for us to come out." Lyra nodded, tears finally falling. "And when we do, they will run us down." Ethan clenched his fists. "Then we won't run." The hidden room felt smaller now. The air was cold, heavy, and tight around them. Above their heads, the creatures walked in slow circles, their claws tapping on the crystal floor like sharp metal fingers. Ethan sat with his back against the wall, staring at the ceiling, listening to every step. Lyra sat across from him, her glowing skin dim and weak. She looked as if the fear was draining the light from her body. Ethan spoke softly. "We can't stay here forever. We need a plan." Lyra lifted her head. Her silver eyes filled with quiet sadness. "There is no plan that ends well for me." "Why do you keep saying that?" Ethan whispered. "You're acting like you already know you're going to die." Her lips trembled. For a long time she stayed silent until she slowly rolled up her sleeve. Ethan leaned forward, surprised that a symbol glowed on her arm. A circle with 3 lines inside it, pulsing softly like a weak heartbeat. The mark looked ancient, almost alive. "What is that?" he asked. Lyra took a shaky breath. "This is the scent mark. When I was a child, I touched the hand of a dying traveler. He wasn't from my village. He wasn't even from my planet." Ethan's eyes widened. "A human?" "Yes," she whispered. "A lost human explorer. Hurt and near death. He begged for help. I tried to heal him. But when I touched him, this symbol appeared. No one knew why." Her voice softened. "My people believed it was a blessing. But Night Stalkers smell this mark as a challenge. They see it as a sign that I must be hunted." Ethan shook his head. "But why would a human cause that?" "No one knows," she said. "Human energy is different. Humans glow differently to predators. Your kind's courage, your choices, your emotions. They leave traces on the world." She looked away. "Maybe the human who touched me carried something powerful. Maybe he carried something dangerous." The mark picked it up and passed it to me. Ethan watched her carefully. He saw the pain in her eyes, not just fear of the creatures, but years of loneliness. "How long have you been running?" he asked. "Since that day," she whispered. The mark grew brighter. "Night Stalkers appeared around our village. They dragged away my friends. My family, they came for me. I ran into the mountains and never returned." Ethan's jaw tightened. "All because you helped someone?" Lyra nodded. "Because I cared. Caring cost me everything." Ethan reached out and touched the edge of the glowing mark. Surprisingly, it pulsed brighter, reacting to him. Lyra gasped softly. "It reacts to humans." The mark brightened again, glowing almost white. And then Ethan felt it. A warm pulse through his fingertips, as if the mark was trying to speak. He pulled his hand back. "This means something." Lyra shook her head. "It means danger. It means the Night Stalkers sense you now too." Her voice cracked. "I shouldn't have asked you to stay with me." "You didn't ask," Ethan said gently. "You begged. And I chose to stay." Lyra's eyes softened. A small tear rolled down her cheek. "If I leave," Ethan continued, "they'll tear you apart before morning. I'm not going anywhere." Above them, heavy steps suddenly stopped. Silenced. Then, a slow, deep growl right above the hidden room. Ethan stiffened. The creatures knew exactly where they were. Lyra reached for him with shaking hands. "It's calling the others." When Night Stalkers growl like that, it means the final hunt begins. Ethan moved closer, pressing his hand against hers. Then when they opened that panel, he looked straight into her frightened eyes. "They'll find me waiting," Lyra whispered. "Humans are not born to fight these creatures." Ethan smiled faintly. "Humans aren't born to run either." The growl above them finally faded, replaced by quiet scratching on the walls. The Night Stalkers weren't attacking yet. They were waiting, surrounding the hut like patient shadows. Ethan could feel their presence, heavy and cold, pressing against the air itself. Lyra hugged her arms close to her chest. Her glowing mark pulsed like a weak heartbeat. Ethan sat beside her, watching her carefully. "You said the mark appeared when you touched that dying human," he said softly. "But what happened after that? There's something you're not telling me." For a moment, Lyra didn't respond. Her eyes stared into the dim blue glow of the hidden room. as if she was seeing ghosts from her past. Then she spoke slowly, like her voice was walking through painful memories. "He crashed here," she whispered. "His ship fell from the sky like a burning star. I was the first one to find him. He was bleeding, broken. But he still smiled when he saw me." Ethan listened closely. "He told me something strange," she continued. "He said, 'Don't fear the dark. Fear the thing hiding in it.' I didn't understand at the time. I just wanted to help him." She swallowed hard. "When I touched his hand, something bright passed into me. Like a spark. Like his mind, or his courage, or maybe his last memory." Ethan felt goosebumps crawl up his arms. "That spark," she said, touching the mark on her skin, "became this. The scent mark. After he died, the mark glowed brighter. And then the Night Stalkers came." Ethan frowned. "Do you think they were hunting him too?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, I believe he was their target. And when he touched me, the target moved." Ethan clenched his fists. "So they're chasing you because of him?" "No," Lyra whispered. "They're chasing me because of something inside him. Something I carry now. What is it?" Ethan asked. For the first time, Lyra looked terrified of her own words. "A memory," she said softly. "A human memory so strong that it calls predators like a beacon." Ethan leaned closer. "What memory?" Lyra hesitated. Her breath shook. He remembered killing one of them. The room fell silent. Night Stalkers hunted by instinct, but they also hunted by revenge. "They never forget," she whispered. "They follow the scent of the one who destroys their kind. They don't care if the person who carries the memory is guilty or innocent." Ethan finally understood. "You're being hunted for a battle you never fought." Lyra nodded, a tear rolling down her cheek. "I didn't choose this, and I cannot erase it." Ethan reached gently for her hand. She flinched at first, but then let him hold it. Her skin was warm, almost too warm, as if the mark was reacting again. "It responds to humans," Ethan murmured. "Maybe this memory, this spark, is connected to my kind." Lyra's voice cracked. "If you stay near me, the creatures will learn your scent too. They will hunt you for the same memory." "I don't care," Ethan said, his tone steady. Lyra looked at him in disbelief. "Why? Because you didn't run when that traveler needed you. You risked your life for him. You shouldn't be punished for kindness." Above them, a loud crash shook the hut. Crystal shards fell from the ceiling. Ethan reacted instantly, shielding Lyra's head with his arms as pieces shattered around them. "They're breaking the supports," Lyra whispered. "They want the ground to collapse." Ethan felt rage ignite inside him. "We're not going down that easily." A shadow moved across the cracks in the floor, large, slow, waiting. Lyra's breathing quickened. "If they break the floor, they will drag us into the snow. We cannot let them." Ethan scanned the room. No weapons. No exits. Only courage. "What about the memory?" he asked suddenly. "Can you show it to me?" Lyra froze. Humans are the only ones who might survive seeing it. "But it can change you. It can hurt you." Ethan squeezed her hand. "Show me." Another crash shook the hut, louder this time. Lyra looked into his eyes, trembling. "Ethan, if I share it with you, it might wake something in you. Something the Night Stalkers fear." "Good," he said. And for the first time Lyra believed him. The hut above them shook again, this time harder, sharper, like something massive slammed against its walls. Ethan held Lyra closer as dust and crystal shards fell between the wooden cracks. The Night Stalkers were no longer waiting. They were preparing to break in. Lyra's glowing skin flickered, her breathing uneven. "If you see the memory," she whispered, "you must stay calm. Humans who panic, they lose themselves inside it." Ethan nodded. "Show me anyway." She reached forward, her trembling fingers touching his temples. Instantly, the world around them dissolved. The hidden room, the cold air, the scratching claws, they all vanished. Darkness swallowed everything. Then light exploded. Ethan gasped as he stood, inside someone else's memory. A burning forest. A crashed pod. A human explorer, arm broken, bleeding badly, dragging himself across alien soil. And behind him, a Night Stalker. Tall, black, four-legged, with long arms that dragged along the ground. Silver-white eyes. A mouth filled with glowing fangs. It moved like a shadow with a heartbeat. The injured human in the memory didn't run. He picked up a metal rod from the ground and limped toward the creature. The roar it gave shook the trees. The human charged anyway. The battle was brutal, fast, violent. Claws slashed. Metal struck. Blood spilled, thick silver blood that glowed like molten light. Finally, the human rammed the rod through the creature's throat. The beast collapsed. The human fell next to it. Dying. And as he lay there, he whispered one thing: "Remember me." The memory shattered. Ethan was back in the hidden room. Sweating, breathing hard, heart pounding like a drum. Lyra pulled her hands away, terrified by how violently he reacted. "Ethan, breathe," she whispered. He tried. His chest heaved. His hands shook. But the fear inside him was not for himself, it was for her, because he understood now. The Night Stalkers weren't hunting Lyra, they were hunting the memory of the human who killed one of them, the scent of his final victory. And since Lyra carried that memory, they saw her as the killer. Ethan clenched his jaw. "They think you murdered their kin. They think you're the one who killed the Night Stalker." Lyra nodded weakly. "And I cannot make them understand the truth." Ethan took her hand. "But I can." A thunderous crash hit the hut above them. Wood snapped. Crystal cracked. Snow burst into the hidden room through the edges of the floor. The creatures were breaking their way in. "We can't stay here," Ethan said. "We have to fight or we die." "How?" Lyra whispered. "We have no weapons." "You do," Ethan said. "The mark responded to me. It's connected to human courage." The traveler fought with nothing but fear and strength. "That memory lives in you. And now in me." Lyra shook her head. "Ethan, humans are brave, but Night Stalkers." A massive claw punched through the floor. Inches from her head, Ethan grabbed her, pulling her back as another claw tore open a huge crack. The creatures were coming. "Follow me," Ethan said, pulling her toward the panel. "We fight upstairs. If we stay down here, they'll trap us like animals." Lyra hesitated only a moment before nodding. Ethan pushed the panel open. Cold air rushed in. Snow whipped through the broken windows. 3 Night Stalkers stood around the room, massive, silent, waiting. Their silver eyes glowed like knives in the dark. Lyra froze. One of the creatures lowered its head and sniffed the air. The glowing mark on Lyra's arm pulsed brightly. The creature growled. Ethan stepped in front of her. The growl stopped. All 3 Night Stalkers turned their eyes toward him, confused, startled, almost afraid. The memory inside Lyra was now connected to him too. They smelled it. Ethan stared back at them. For the first time, he didn't feel fear. He felt purpose. He felt human. Behind him, Lyra whispered, "Ethan, your eyes. They're glowing." Another growl tore through the hut, this time from Ethan. The Night Stalkers stepped back, for the first time. They were afraid. Snowstorm wind roared through the shattered hut, scattering crystal shards across the floor. The 3 Night Stalkers circled Ethan and Lyra in slow, heavy steps. Their silver eyes locked on Ethan, confused, uneasy, smelling something impossible, something human, and something familiar. Ethan felt the memory burning behind his eyes. The dead explorer's courage. His final fight. His refusal to run. That spark of human defiance now lived inside Ethan. His breathing steadied. His heartbeat slowed. His fear melted away like snow and fire. Lyra grabbed his arm. "Ethan, don't fight them. They killed trained hunters. They'll destroy you." He looked at her gently. "Not today." One of the creatures lunged. Ethan moved before he realized he was moving. His hand shot out, grabbing the creature's claw mid-swipe. The force pushed him back, boots sliding on the icy floor. But he didn't fall. The creature snarled in surprise. Lyra gasped. "Ethan, how?" Ethan pushed forward, twisting the creature's wrist until its glowing bones cracked. It screeched and stumbled back. The other two stalkers roared and attacked from both sides. Ethan didn't run. He stood tall. The memory took over, not controlling him, but guiding him. His body moved with instinct, courage, and something very old. He ducked under one swipe, grabbed a fallen crystal shard, and slashed across another creature's shoulder. Silver blood spilled, steaming on the snow. The Night Stalkers had hunted Lyra for years. They never expected a human to stand between them and their prey. Lyra watched in shock. He's like the Traveler. The same courage. The same spark. Ethan felt a pulse from her arm, her mark glowing brighter, reacting to him. The room filled with white light as the mark linked to Ethan's heartbeat. The creatures hesitated. For the first time, they sensed an equal. Ethan pointed the crystal shard at them. "Leave now." But Night Stalkers did not leave. They did not surrender. Their kind only understood two things: dominance or death. All three charged at once. The hut shook under their weight. Snow fell from the broken ceiling. Night Stalkers moved like shadows with teeth. But Ethan met them head-on. One creature pounced from above. Ethan rolled aside, grabbed its leg, and slammed it into the wall. Another leaped toward Lyra. Ethan dived in front of her, blocking the attack with his arm. The claws tore into him, but he didn't fall. Lyra screamed, "Ethan!" He pushed the creature off with a roar, his voice deep, echoing like the explorer's last cry. Lyra stared in horror. Blood dripped down Ethan's arm. He could barely breathe, but he still stood in front of her. "Why? Why do you protect me?" She whispered. He answered softly, even through the pain. "Because you're worth protecting." Her glowing mark pulsed like a heartbeat. Brighter and brighter, until suddenly, it broke into pure white light. The stalkers stopped. Every creature froze. Trembling, the air shifted. Lyra looked at her arm, stunned. "Ethan, the mark. It's changing." The glowing circle on her arm cracked like fragile glass, then dissolved into drifting particles of light. The curse was breaking. Ethan stood shakily, blood staining his clothes. "It wasn't just courage," he whispered. "It was choice. The mark needed someone to choose to protect you." The creatures backed away, their glowing eyes dimming. Without the mark, without the scent, without the memory, it was over. The stalkers turned into the snowstorm and disappeared. Silence filled the hut. Lyra crawled to Ethan, tears falling quickly. "You saved me. After all these years. Someone finally saved me." Ethan gave a weak smile. "Humans can be stubborn." She held him tightly. "You broke the curse. You broke something that chased me for half my life." He rested his forehead against hers. "You're free now." Her voice trembled with emotion. "Stay with me. Not because I'm scared, but because I want you to." Ethan closed his eyes, breathing softly against her glowing skin. "Always," he whispered. Outside, the storm ended. Inside the broken hut, an alien girl and a human sat together, finally safe, finally free, and finally not alone. HFY. Humanity wins not by strength, but by heart.